Imagine a coin so rare, so legendary, it's been dubbed the Holy Grail of collecting. This isn't just any dime, it's the Roosevelt dime, shrouded in mystery and sought after by enthusiasts worldwide. What makes this seemingly ordinary coin so extraordinary, and why does its unique story continue to captivate collectors? Welcome to HD Coin's world. Number 1. Imagine holding a dime in your hand so rare that it could change your life forever. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 10-cent coin, but in reality, it's one of the most mysterious and most valuable dimes ever struck by the United States Mint. Collectors all over the country are still searching for this treasure, and today, I'm going to reveal everything you need to know about the super rare 1975 Roosevelt dime with no mint mark, and why it could make you thousands of dollars if you ever find one. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away the year before. Since then, billions of these dimes have been minted across the United States in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But in 1975, a remarkable mistake occurred, and a tiny handful of dimes escaped the mint without the S mint mark that should have appeared on coins struck in San Francisco. Instead of being just another proof coin for collectors, this small error transformed the dime into one of the most sought-after rarities in modern U.S. coinage. When you look at a normal 1975 proof dime, you'll always see that small S right above the date. But for these ultra-rare examples, the mint mark is completely missing, leaving collectors stunned and fascinated. This tiny detail makes all the difference. Without that S, you're not just holding a proof dime, you're holding a piece of history that was never supposed to exist. Visualize zooming in on the date. 1975. With no mint mark, and you'll understand why collectors call it the Holy Grail of Roosevelt dimes. What makes this coin so rare is not just the missing mint mark, but also the fact that only 2 confirmed examples are known today. Think about that. Billions of dimes were struck in 1975, yet only 2 of these no mint mark proof dimes have ever been authenticated. This incredible scarcity makes it nearly impossible to find, and yet it fuels the excitement of coin hunters, because the thought of a third example sitting unnoticed in someone's collection is enough to keep the dream alive. Collectors demand these coins for 2 reasons. First, the undeniable rarity, and second, the mystery surrounding their existence. How did they escape the San Francisco Mint? Were they struck by accident before the mint mark punch was applied? Or were they released intentionally by mistake? These unanswered questions add to the coin's legendary status, making it more than just a piece of silver-colored metal. It's a piece of American coinage history that tells a story of chance, error, and discovery. Now let's talk about value, because this is where jaws drop. Back in 1978, the first example of the 1975 no mint mark dime was discovered and later sold at auction for tens of thousands of dollars. Fast forward to 2011, when Heritage Auctions offered one of these dimes and it realized an astonishing price of over $349,000 in a single auction. That's right, a single dime, worth nearly $350,000. This proves just how much collectors are willing to pay for a coin of this magnitude. Today, if another 1975 no mint mark dime were to surface, experts agree it could easily set new records, possibly reaching $500,000 or more depending on condition and auction demand. The market for rare U.S. coins has only grown stronger, and with so much competition among elite collectors, the bidding war would be fierce. So what should you look for if you ever come across a 1975 dime? First, check if it's a proof coin. Proof dimes from 1975 were struck in San Francisco and should carry an S mint mark. If you see one without that S, you may just be staring at one of the rarest coins in American history. Look carefully at coin collections, inherited sets, or even proof sets stored away in attics. Because that's exactly where the first examples were found. The hunt for the 1975 no mint mark dime is still alive today, and while only 2 are officially known, the possibility of another discovery keeps collectors searching tirelessly. Imagine being the person who uncovers the third example. Not only would you be making history, but you'd also be holding a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So next time you come across a 1975 Roosevelt dime, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look, inspect that mint mark, and remember that sometimes the tiniest details can make the biggest difference. This is more than just a coin, it's a treasure that proves history, chance, and value can collide in the palm of your hand. And if you enjoyed this journey into one of America's most valuable dimes, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with other collectors. You never know who might have this rarity hiding in their collection right now. Number 2. Have you ever wondered if a simple 10-cent coin sitting in your pocket could be worth a fortune? Imagine finding a dime so rare that collectors across the world would pay thousands just to own it. Not every dime from 1967 is valuable, but there's one particular version that stands out: the mysterious and super rare 1967 Roosevelt dime with no mint mark. Today we are going to uncover its history, its unique features, the collector demand that drives its insane value, and the jaw-dropping prices it has reached at auction. Stay with me until the end, because this might just be the coin you've been searching for. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the only U.S. president elected to 4 terms. Fast forward to 1965, and the United States Mint made a huge change. Silver coins were replaced with a copper-nickel-clad composition due to the rising cost of silver. That also meant that dimes, quarters, and half dollars between 1965 and 1967 were struck without mint marks to discourage coin hoarding during this transitional era. This is where the story of the 1967 no mint mark dime begins. But not every one of them is rare. So what makes certain examples so valuable? The unique feature of this coin lies in its condition and striking quality. Because 1967 dimes were made without mint marks from all 3 major mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the difference between an ordinary coin and a rare, highly valuable one is the level of preservation and whether it shows a special strike known as a full bands or full torch. These details appear in the vertical lines of the torch on the reverse, and when fully visible, collectors pay extreme premiums. Imagine a close-up shot of the torch on screen. Sharp lines, full definition. That is the type of detail you must look for. The rarity of the 1967 dime comes not from mintage numbers, but from survival and the highest grades of preservation. Billions were minted, but most entered circulation immediately, becoming scratched, worn, and damaged. Very few remain today in pristine mint state or special mint set condition, which makes them extremely desirable to collectors. It is not just about having a 1967 dime, it is about having one in flawless condition, with sharp details, a blazing surface, and no signs of wear. Collectors demand these coins because they represent a unique chapter in U.S. coinage history, the no mint mark era. From 1965 to 1967, every dime left the mint without identifying marks, which makes finding one in top condition a real challenge. This fuels competition among numismatists, as they battle for the best graded examples certified by PCGS and NGC. High-grade 1967 dimes with full bands are especially prized, as they are incredibly difficult to find even in unopened rolls or original mint sets. Now let's talk about value, because this is where things get exciting. In 2016, Heritage Auctions sold a 1967 Roosevelt dime graded MS-68 with full bands for an astonishing $4,100. Another example in the same grade crossed the auction block at Stack's Bowers and realized over $2,800. Keep in mind, these are 10-cent coins that most people overlook, yet in the right condition, they have commanded thousands of dollars at auction. Today, the market for top-condition 1967 no-mint mark dimes is stronger than ever. As collectors hunt for that perfect example, prices continue to rise. Experts believe that the next MS-68 full bands dime to hit the auction floor could easily push past $5,000 or more, especially as demand for high-end Roosevelt dimes continues to grow. So where should you look if you want to hunt for one of these treasures? Start with old coin collections, inherited jars of change, or original special mint sets from 1967. because that is where many of the finest surviving examples have been discovered. And remember, not every 1967 dime is valuable. Condition is everything. A regular circulated example is only worth face value, but in flawless mint state with those sharp full bands, you could be holding a coin worth thousands. The thrill of coin hunting lies in these possibilities. One person's pocket change could be another person's rare treasure. So take a second look at those dimes from 1967, pay attention to the details, and always keep an eye out for coins in pristine condition. Who knows? The next great auction record could be set by a coin sitting quietly in your very own collection. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, give it a like, and drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare 1967 dime or want to start your own coin hunt. Every story of discovery starts with curiosity, and maybe your story will be the next to inspire the coin collecting world. Number 3. Picture this. You reach into an old coin jar, flip over a dime, and discover that tiny S mint mark on the reverse, below the wreath. Suddenly your heart races, because you might be holding one of the most legendary and valuable coins ever struck in the United States, the 1894 S Barber dime. With only a handful known to exist, this dime is not just pocket change, it's $1 million treasure. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll uncover the secrets behind its history, its unique features, why collectors crave it, and the jaw-dropping values it has reached at auction. The Barber Dime series began in 1892, designed by Chief Engraver Charles E. Barber, featuring the classic Liberty head on the obverse and a simple wreath design on the reverse. Minted until 1916, Barber dimes are a collector favorite, but among them, the 1894 S stands alone as the rarest issue. Struck at the San Francisco Mint, only 24 examples were produced, and to this day, fewer than 10 are confirmed to survive. This makes it not only one of the rarest dimes, but one of the rarest United States coins of all time. What makes the 1894 S so special is not just the tiny mintage, but the mystery behind why so few were made. Some experts believe they were struck for special presentation sets, while others say they were minted to balance the San Francisco Mint's accounting records at the end of the fiscal year. Whatever the reason, the fact remains, this dime was never meant to enter general circulation, yet a few did, and that's what makes the hunt so fascinating. Imagine a coin that looks ordinary to the untrained eye, but is worth a fortune to those who know what to look for. The unique feature you must focus on is the S mint mark on the reverse, just below the wreath. On a genuine 1894 S, the detail is crisp and centered, and the overall strike is strong since these coins were carefully produced. But beware, countless counterfeits exist, so authenticity is everything. Professional grading and certification from PCGS or NGC is the only way to verify if what you have is the real deal. Visualize a close-up shot of that S mint mark, magnified for the audience. That's the detail separating a multi-million-dollar treasure from an ordinary dime. The rarity of this coin cannot be overstated. With fewer than 10 examples surviving, the 1894 S dime is considered a trophy coin, reserved for the most elite collectors and investors. Condition plays a huge role here. Even well-worn examples are worth staggering sums, while those in pristine mint state condition are considered priceless. This level of rarity means demand will always outpace supply, keeping values sky high and attracting intense competition whenever one surfaces. Now let's talk about value, because this is where the story turns legendary. In 2005, Stack's Auction House sold an example for $1,323,000. In 2016, another specimen graded Proof 66 by PCGS sold through Heritage Auctions for $1,997,500. More recently, in 2020, a collector paid over $1,500,000 for another example at auction. And experts agree, if a top-grade specimen were to appear today, it could push beyond $2 million, making it one of the most expensive U.S. coins ever sold. So where could you possibly find one of these treasures? The truth is, most are already accounted for in major collections, but history has shown that rare coins do surface in unexpected places. In fact, One of the known examples was found by a little girl in the early 1900s, who used it to buy ice cream, and the coin later resurfaced decades later at auction. Stories like that keep coin hunters motivated, because even with extreme rarity, the possibility of discovery is never zero. Always check inherited collections, old coin albums, or estate sales, because sometimes miracles do happen. The thrill of the 1894 dime lies in its story, its scarcity, and its breathtaking value. It is the coin that represents the pinnacle of American numismatics, a symbol of history, chance, and ultimate rarity. And if you ever were lucky enough to come across one, it wouldn't just be a discovery, it would be a life-changing event. Number 4. Imagine finding a tiny silver dime that looks like ordinary pocket change but is actually worth thousands of dollars. That's the reality behind one of the most fascinating U.S. coins, the 1942 Mercury dime with no mint mark. Not every 1942 dime is rare, but the right one in the right condition could change your life. Stay tuned because I'll reveal its history, its unique features, what collectors look for, and the jaw-dropping prices it has sold for at auction. The Mercury dime, also called the Winged Liberty Head dime, was minted from 1916 until 1945. Designed by Adolph A. Weinman, the obverse features Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought, while the reverse shows a fasces and olive branch, representing strength and peace. These coins were struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, giving them both beauty and intrinsic value. The 1942 issue was produced in huge numbers, but among those, the no-mint mark Philadelphia strikes hold a special place for collectors. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. Most 1942 dimes you see carry either no-mint mark for Philadelphia, a small D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. The Philadelphia strikes make up the bulk of the year's production, but not every one of them is rare. What separates ordinary coins from the ones worth big money is condition, strike quality, and in some cases, the presence of rare die varieties. Imagine a close-up shot of that dime on screen, zooming in on the date, the edges, and the fine details that collectors pay attention to. The key to rarity with the 1942 no-mint mark dime is preservation. With more than 205 million struck in Philadelphia, most entered circulation immediately and were used daily for decades. The vast majority are worn, scratched, and only worth their silver melt value. But in uncirculated condition, with sharp details and blazing luster, the story changes dramatically. Coins with full bands, meaning the horizontal lines on the fasces are fully struck and clearly separated, are especially scarce and highly desirable. Collectors chase these dimes not just for their silver content, but for their artistry, their history, and the challenge of finding one in top condition. The Mercury dime is considered one of the most beautiful designs in U.S. coinage, and high-grade examples always attract strong demand. Add the factor of rarity and condition, and you have a recipe for fierce bidding at auctions. Now let's talk about value, and this is where things get exciting. In 2014, Heritage Auctions sold a 1942 no-mint mark Mercury dime graded MS-68 with full bands for over $13,000. In 2018, another gem example brought nearly $10,000 at Stack's Bowers. Even coins in MS-67 with full bands regularly sell for thousands of dollars, proving how much collectors are willing to pay for the best of the best. Today, the market for Mercury dimes remains red hot. With silver prices strong and collector demand higher than ever, experts believe that another top-grade 1942 no-mint mark dime could easily push beyond $15,000 at auction. That's not bad for a coin most people overlook as ordinary change. So where should you look if you want to hunt for one of these treasures? Start by searching through old coin collections, inherited albums, and estate sales. Many families stored rolls of silver coins decades ago, and sometimes those rolls contain hidden gems. Pay special attention to coins with sharp strikes, no wear, and strong full band details, because those are the ones collectors pay huge premiums for. The thrill of the hunt is what makes coin collecting so addictive. A dime that looks common to the untrained eye could be a rare and valuable prize if it's preserved in gem condition. Always check closely, because the smallest detail can make the biggest difference. If you enjoyed learning about the 1942 no mint mark Mercury dime, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment telling us if you've ever found a rare Mercury dime in your collection. Your story might inspire another collector, and who knows, you might just be the next person to discover a hidden treasure worth thousands. Number 5. What if I told you that a dime from the early 1990s, a coin most people would never give a second thought, could actually be worth thousands of dollars? That's right. The 1991 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark might look like everyday change, but under the right conditions, it can transform into a collector's treasure. Stay with me, because I'll reveal its history, what makes it unique, the features to look for, and the jaw-dropping market values this coin has achieved at major auctions. The Roosevelt dime has been a cornerstone of U.S. coinage since 1946, introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. By 1991, billions of these dimes had been struck, and they were still being minted in copper nickel clad instead of silver. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by its P mint mark, produced hundreds of millions that year, which makes you wonder, how can a coin so common ever be rare and valuable? The answer lies in condition, striking details, and special varieties that only a trained eye can spot. Visually, a 1991 dime should display the bold P mint mark on the obverse, just to the right of Roosevelt's neck. Most examples show ordinary strikes with slight imperfections, but a tiny percentage were struck so sharply that they reveal every fine detail, including full torch lines on the reverse, where the vertical and horizontal bands of the torch are completely separated and fully defined. Imagine zooming in on the reverse with high-definition visuals, highlighting those razor-sharp lines. This is the difference that drives collectors wild. The rarity of the 1991 P dime isn't about mintage numbers, but about survival in flawless condition. Billions circulated, rattling around in pockets, purses, and vending machines, which means nearly all of them show wear and scratches. Only a few escaped into coin rolls, mint sets, or collector holdings where they survived in pristine mint state. In the world of numismatics, those high-grade survivors with strong full-torch details are the ones collectors chase fiercely. Collector demand for this coin comes from two powerful forces: the love of modern Roosevelt dimes as a complete series, and the difficulty of finding a 1991 P dime in the highest grades. Many coin hunters underestimate modern dimes, but the truth is, registry set collectors will pay huge premiums to secure top-graded examples. The competition for the finest coins certified by PCGS or NGC is intense, and when one surfaces, it always sparks a bidding war. Now let's talk about value, and this is where jaws drop. In 2017, Heritage Auctions sold a 1991 P dime graded MS68 with full torch for over $1,300. Another specimen in MS67 with full torch brought more than $600 at Stack's Bowers. Even lower-grade mint-state examples can bring in solid premiums compared to face value, especially if they show strong luster and strike. Imagine a coin worth 10 cents turning into a four-figure payday simply because of its condition and rarity. Today, experts agree that if a 1991 P dime were to surface in a near-perfect MS69 with full torch, it could easily break past $2,000 at auction. The demand for these modern rarities continues to grow, especially among collectors who are building top-ranked registry sets. The market is strong, and the right coin could set new records at the next big sale. So where should you look if you want to hunt for one of these treasures? The best places are original U.S. mint sets from 1991, coin rolls that have been stored for decades, and even forgotten collections in attics or drawers. Pay close attention to coins with no scratches, bright surfaces, and razor-sharp torch details, because those are the ones that can bring in the big money. Always check the obverse for the bold P mint mark and the reverse for those critical full torch lines. The thrill of the hunt makes this coin exciting. Not every 1991 P dime is valuable, but the right one in gem condition can make all the difference. That's what coin collecting is all about: discovering the hidden treasures that others overlook and turning pocket change into something extraordinary. If you enjoyed learning about the 1991 P dime and its incredible value, make sure to subscribe for more rare coin stories, hit the like button to support the channel, and drop a comment telling us if you've ever found a modern dime that turned out to be worth big money. Your story might inspire another collector to start their own hunt, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to uncover the next record-breaking dime.